It's Wednesday, and we are, we're so close to being done with this new instruction for the academic year. If you didn't hear me yesterday, I said that so as of the end of next week, we're done assigning new material. So for those of you who have been caught up at the end of next week, you'll be good to go. And for those of you who might be lagging a little behind, that's okay. In fact, I've had a couple of you reach out to me today. If you are lagging a little bit behind, here's my advice. Take it one day at a time. If you start now, you'll definitely be finished by the end of a year when all the work is due. So if you're behind, that's okay. Just go one day at a time. All right, you're going to get full credit, but work diligently, and you'll do well. So here's what we're going to do today. Today's it's hitting a little bit of the pause button on your essay revision, but hopefully you'll be able to use today's lesson to help improve your own essay, and you'll see what I mean here in a second. So on today's assignment, and yours is going to look just a little bit different than mine. I'm going to show you on my desktop what it looks like, but yours will look a little bit different on Google. So I have given you, there will be 3 responses to this essay. So because this essay was released by the Ohio Department of Education, they also released some of the responses that students actually provided. So these were literally written by 9th graders. I think it was in 2018, 17. And there's 3 responses that all were responding to the same question that you're responding to based on the same reading stimulus text that you're responding to. So basically what I'm saying is this is what kids came up with for their state tests. So the reason we're going to use them today is because I want you to look. So I have response 1 here, I have response 2 here, and response 3 here. And again, like I said, yours are going to look different. The reason I want to use these 3 is because all 3 of these earned 7 points out of the 10 points that the state gives for their written responses. So 7 out of 10 is actually a decent score when it comes to the state test. It's not great, and I would want all of you next year when you take an AIR test to do better than 7. But looking at a 7-point score can be really helpful because it helps us see, all right, what sort of things should I be doing in my writing, and what sort of things are other 9th graders doing to get that 7 out of 10 score. So the first task for today you're going to do is you're going to read all 3 responses. So response 1 is right here, okay? Response 2, like I said, is right here, and response 3 is right here. Now, keep in mind, as you read these, you're probably going to go, ooh, that's not great. I know better than to do that. And if you're doing that as you're reading, that's good. But once you've read all 3, you understand that all of them got a 7 out of 10 for different reasons. Then we're going to kick over to the museum essay example essay response sheet. I have essay there twice. I don't know why. I'll fix that. The museum response sheet. So you are making a value judgment. You're evaluating based on these 3. So my directions say, please use the sample essays that are attached to this assignment to complete this Google Doc. The responses are numbered 1, 2, or 3 for your reference. And I said all of them got a 7 out of 10. So they all were scored the same. So what we're doing today is we're analyzing, we're critiquing, we're evaluating other essays. So the first one says, which sample response do you think was the best of the 3? That's a really easy, you just type out response 1, response 2, or response 3. Number 1, really easy. Number 2, I'm asking you to give a brief response about why that one was the best. And look, I've even given you kind of a target here. Give me 2 to 3 sentences why that one that you chose was the best. So again, you chose response 1, response 2, or response 3. Give me a few sentences about why that one was better than the rest, even though they're all scored 7, okay? Why to you, you're making a value judgment. Why to you was that one the best? Number 3, type the attention grabber or the hook for the response you thought was best. So once you've chosen one, pretty much all of the other questions here, all the other prompts here are going to deal with the one that you've chosen. So for number 3, you're just typing the attention grabber or the hook for the one that you chose, the one you thought was best. Not all 3, just the one you chose. For number 4, you're going to type the thesis statement of the response you thought was best. So again, whatever one, let's say you chose response 2, you're going to type the thesis statement for response 2 right here. Number 5, what was the strongest argument that the author of your chosen response made? So you're going to say, all right, where was my author at their best? Where did they argue or support their claim in the most functional and effective way throughout the entire essay? And that's what you're going to answer here, and you're going to respond to number 5. Number 6 says, what was an argument that the author of your chosen response did not make very clearly, and how could they have clarified? So again, these are all 7s, so they're not perfect by any means. So what was an argument, or what was a point or a point of analysis that your author tried to make, again, just of the one you've chosen, that they didn't make very clearly, and how could they have clarified it? So number 6 is going to be a few sentence answer at least. Number 7, how did the author explain and address a counterclaim? Now, I put a hint in here because some tried and failed, and some didn't try at all. So if you happen to pick one that doesn't have a counterclaim, you say, hey, listen, my author didn't at any point try to address a counterclaim, therefore they failed at addressing a counterclaim. I think there's one in there that says they lay out the counterclaim, but they don't shoot it down. They don't nullify it. They don't refute it. They don't rebut it. So that's a problem. Okay. So talk about their counterclaim, if they had it, what they did well, what they could have done better. Number 8 says, give one positive aspect and one negative aspect of the conclusion of the response you've chosen. Again, just the one that you thought was best. What was something they did well in the conclusion, and what was something that they could have done better or they didn't do well? I'll give you a little bit of a hint. Starting a conclusion with "in conclusion" is bad, and I told you that when we started and we worked on conclusions, and so that would be an obvious one. All right. Number 9 says, what was the best or most effective part of the essay which you chose? So think about it like this. There's an introductory paragraph. There's 2 body paragraphs, hopefully. There's another body paragraph that does a counterclaim. There's conclusion. Where was your author at their best? That's a little bit different than number 5, which is what's the strongest argument, okay? Every one of these 3 responses has a spot where I thought, ooh, that writer was doing a very good job at that specific point right then. Tell me what you thought that was. Where were they at their best? And then number 10, give at least 2 concrete ways in which the author could have earned more than the 7 out of the 10 points in the essay. And let me give you a little help of where you could kind of look for that. At the bottom, the state breaks down the scoring rubric. So like response 1 got 3 out of 4 points for purpose, focus, and organization. They got 2 out of 4 points for evidence and elaboration, and they got 2 points for conventions of standard English, 2 out of 2. Response 2 had the same rubric, 3 for purpose, 2 for evidence, 2 for standard English. And the last one kind of flipped it a little bit. They had 2 for purpose focus, they had 3 for evidence and elaboration, and they had 2 for standard English. So that might be a good place to look when you're going to answer number 10, and give, again, 2 concrete ways. Don't just say they could have improved their evidence. Tell me where they could have improved their evidence. Don't say they could have improved their structure. Show me how they could have, or tell me how they could have improved their structure. All right, so 2 concrete ways. So tell me exactly what they could have done better to earn more than 7 out of 10. Again, the reminder here is this is evaluation, right? This is looking at how someone else does something, judging how they did it, and using that learning to then help your own writing. There is a little, I want to give a warning here, and this is in the directions for today. This is not a excuse or a green light for plagiarism or academic dishonesty. Okay. Obviously, these 3 essays are all pulling from the same 2 stimulus texts that you all have read. So yeah, there's going to be some similar evidence used because there's only so much evidence to pick from. But keep in mind, I've read these, so please don't use any like the analysis or any of these students' words in your own essay because I'll know because we've all read them. All right, so this is not a green light for academic dishonesty or plagiarism. It's just a, hey, how did someone else do this and how can I improve mine? Because again, if you are keeping up with us, I would still like you to continue to be working on revising and editing and improving your essay. For those of you who are keeping up, I love it. Keep on keeping on. For those of you a little behind, don't worry. The end is in sight. Keep the head down. Keep plugging away. Let me know if you have questions. I will help you as much as I possibly can. Have a great Wednesday, everybody.